Hi, I'm Kyle. I'm the owner of CrossFit City Limits. And I'm back again, this time to talk about the burpee. Really, this video is not completely to teach the burpee, even though that's what will happen in this video. The main purpose of this video is just to show and continue to build on the context of what we've been talking about. How if we learn how to get our spine in a good position, and we learn how to stabilize our joints there, it teaches us how to stand, but ultimately what that does is that teaches us how to brace our body position for any type of movement. All movement kind of stems from the squat, the push-up, and the jump. So we want to get really, really good at these movements, but we also want to do other movements in a way that ties back into these three. That way when we bounce off into different movements, when we're actually working on the burpee, we actually are going to be getting good at a lot of other things as well. So we kind of use that squat, push-up, and a jump as one place to tie everything back in together. So, for those of you who haven't seen a burpee, what a burpee is I'm going to stand in my squat stance. I'm going to squat down a little bit, flop onto the ground, get back up off the ground, jump and clap. So just in real time. It's getting on the ground, it's getting back up off the ground, and then jumping. So to build the burpee, we're going to first need to know how to squat. We covered that in the last video, so if you haven't seen that, go ahead and go back to that video before you continue on here. Then we need to know how to do a push-up. Next, we need to learn how to make that push-up a little more dynamic. So we need to learn a kipping push-up. If you haven't heard the term kipping before, it basically just means us using our body to generate momentum to assist with the movement. A lot of people think of it as cheating, and I think it is cheating. It's awesome. It is cheating a push-up, and there's a lot of good reasons for us to cheat a push-up. In here, we do a lot of regular push-ups, stable spine, working on that pressing strength, but we also want to develop the ability to be a little more athletic and be more usable with what we're learning here in the gym. So, my favorite analogy is if you are playing a sport and you're getting attacked, if you're on the ground and you do a push-up to get up off the ground and then continue on, you're kind of a bozo. So, you're going to get left behind. Nobody's going to move like that. But if we haven't learned a kipping push-up properly, then we're going to be putting ourselves in less advantageous positions, maybe putting our joints and stuff in positions that we don't want to do over and over again. So we're going to learn the kipping push-up, and then we're going to use that to turn it into the burpee with combining it with the squat. And then that way we've got a skill that we do over and over and over again in here that actually transfers out into the real world. So let's start with the kipping push-up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the way onto the ground. I'm going to stay really tight with my body. So my belly button is drawn in. I'm holding a Kegel. My butt cheeks are squeezed. My rib cage is down. I'm twisting my shoulders twisting my hands into the ground. I'm going to create an arch here. So I'm leaving my knees on the ground, and I'm pushing my hips towards the ground. I'm nice and tight with my abs, so I'm not just relaxed here. I'm staying nice and tight, and then I'm just going to shoot my butt up in the air. So one more time, I'm going to create an arch and shoot my butt up in the air. Something you can do to practice this, or just to kind of see what we're doing and why we're doing it. If you take an imaginary soccer ball and you act like you're throwing it, what we can then do is take that soccer ball and act like we're throwing it far. So what would we naturally do? We'd get here and we would throw it. So notice when I get here, I'm not just doing nothing. I'm nice and tight, nice and tall as I generate power from this arch position to slam to throw that ball. We see this in sports over and over again. It also looks like if I'm going to throw a baseball, I create this arch position a little bit, I'm rotated, and then I'm going to slam through to throw. We see it in volleyball. You jump up to spike, we're arched, and then we slam through to spike the volleyball. So we see these positions over and over and over again. So we want to be able to take advantage of our time spent in the gym training to actually train the positions that we're going to use in other sports and other games that we play. So going back to it, if I'm on the ground, I'm going to stay nice and tight. I'm creating this arch position, and then I'm just going to slam my hips up into the air. So that makes a kipping push-up. It uses a lot less upper body strength, and it takes advantage of some momentum. So now what we can do is if I actually go from that arch position and slam my hips up into the air a little harder, I can actually pop myself up back into my squat stance. And then I can stand up. So now we've got a skill that we can use if we're playing a sport, if we're getting attacked, to snap ourselves up efficiently and then go about and do whatever else we need to do. So as I'm practicing the burpee, what I'm going to do is be very deliberate with everything. I want to learn the positions, make sure I'm not doing any weird stuff as I go. But as I get better and better with the burpee, it's going to get more and more dynamic. I'm still going to take advantage of creating these body positions that I can use. And then what we're going to see as you learn more and more of the movements that we do in here, what you're going to see is this arch and snapping body position is used over and over and over again in here and out in sports. So for the full burpee, to tie it back in together, I'm going to stand in my squat stance. Butt tight, belly button drawn in. Hold your Kegel, twist your feet on the floor, ribcage down, stand tall. Rotate up the shoulders. I'm going to squat down a little bit. All of those same things I just listed are going on right now. Now I'm just going to flop into the bottom of a push-up position. Create my arch. Snap back to my squat. And then I'm going to jump and clap. In here we like to jump and clap with our hands behind our ears, clapping together. And what this does is if you look at what I do in a push-up, shoulder back, creating that rotation. Now if I stick my hand up over my head like this and bend, I'm right in this clap position. So making our athletes clap behind the head is really making them rotate at the shoulder and lift up and get all the way extended in a position that would look like an overhead position. So jumping and clapping might make you feel a little weird in the beginning, but there's a lot of purpose to it. So tying it all in, everything we do in here stems from a squat, a push-up, and a jump. We learn these in different variations to create skills that we can then build on, or we can then build other skills, but they all tie back into these. So as you're getting better at burpees, as you're getting better at squats, push-ups, and jumping, we should be becoming better athletes, and we should be just developing skills that we can take advantage of to do really, really amazing things. So thanks for coming in. I'd love to talk to you more about this. So feel free to shoot me an email at crossfitcitylimits@gmail.com if you've got any questions. See you soon.